It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was up.
It's getting hot.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Another layer to this story, Anne-Marie. A federal investigation into Combs has been ongoing, but he has not been charged with a crime.
Have you ever wondered what really goes on behind closed doors at those ultra-exclusive Hollywood parties? The ones hosted by the biggest names in the industry, where the elite gather for nights that are shrouded in secrecy? Well, buckle up because this story is going to blow your mind. Diddy's infamous parties have long been a subject of rumor and intrigue, but what if we told you there's more to them than just luxury, glamour, and A-list guests? Leaked footage recently obtained by CNN appears to show a much darker side of these gatherings, and it's nothing short of shocking.
And in this lawsuit, he claims that essentially P. Diddy was the Epstein of the rap industry.
One name that's popping up in connection to these sinister events, Jaden Smith. That's right, the son of Hollywood power couple Will and Jada Pinkett Smith has been caught up in a whirlwind of speculation surrounding Diddy's secretive late-night gatherings, and the footage makes it clear things might be far worse than anyone ever suspected. Let's dive deep into the murky waters of Diddy's parties, a place where the lines between glitz and grim seem to blur in the most disturbing ways.
I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. This story is huge. It is absolutely huge.
For years, Diddy's parties have been the stuff of legend. We're talking about huge mansions, endless entertainment, and the kind of guest lists that read like a who's who of Hollywood royalty. From music superstars to top actors and major influencers, these events have always been about flaunting wealth and status. But here's where things take a dark turn. According to insiders who have long whispered about what goes on behind the scenes, these weren't just extravagant gatherings. They were something far more sinister.
That this is the end of the Diddy story as we know it.
Imagine being at a party where the rules of normal society seem to evaporate and people are free to indulge in behaviors that would raise eyebrows, or worse, anywhere else. Rumors have swirled for years about the wild activities that go down at Diddy's infamous soirees, and now, with leaked footage allegedly revealing what's really happening, the truth is becoming impossible to ignore.
But we've also heard that there's some secret lawsuit going on in New York City.
Diddy, once the king of New York and the man behind Bad Boy Records, has been living a double life. While the public sees him as a charming mogul, beloved for his chart-topping hits and entrepreneurial empire, those in the know have whispered about a much darker side. Past accounts of these parties hint that Diddy's gatherings have always had an eerie edge to them.
Didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
One source claimed that upon entering Diddy's mansion, it's as if you stepped into another world. Celebrities like Justin Bieber and Usher are rumored to have attended these events when they were much younger, and what went on behind the scenes is unsettling, to say the least.
Because I'm seeing him go from his independence to then becoming Puff Daddy, you know what I'm saying? And I got a front row seat.
Some have even suggested that the mentoring relationships Diddy formed with young stars were anything but innocent. It's said that these young celebrities were drawn in with the promise of career advancement, only to find themselves in an environment where boundaries were pushed, and not in a good way. Take Justin Bieber, for example. When Bieber first burst onto the scene, he was a teenage sensation, and many noticed how quickly he became involved with industry heavyweights like Diddy.
It was just an escape for me. I was just young, like everybody in the industry and people in the world who experiment and do.
Publicly, Diddy was seen as something of a mentor to Bieber, giving him guidance as he navigated the treacherous waters of fame. But insiders claim that Bieber's appearances at Diddy's parties were more than just business. According to rumors, these gatherings weren't just industry mixers. They were wild, unrestricted events where things happened that were far from the squeaky clean image Bieber projected to the world. It's no coincidence that Bieber's troubled years seem to follow closely after his involvement with Diddy's inner circle.
Okay, this is what I mean when I say people wake up every day and just volunteer lies. Diddy, how are we supposed to believe anything that comes out of your mouth? And furthermore, why should we not believe the rumors of things going in your mouth when you out here volunteering bold-faced lies? You would still be lying to us right now if it was no video. You didn't even apologize to Cassie in the video.
Usher's connection to Diddy has also raised eyebrows over the years. When Usher was just a teenager, he lived with Diddy as part of his grooming to become a music superstar. On the surface, it seemed like a golden opportunity. What young artist wouldn't want to be mentored by one of the biggest names in the game? But rumors began to circulate that Usher's time under Diddy's wing wasn't all it appeared to be.
Right? Nah, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
There were whispers of questionable activities, and now, with new footage surfacing, it seems those whispers might have been true all along. It suggested that Diddy's mentorship of young stars wasn't entirely professional, and some of those involved are only now beginning to realize the extent of what went on behind closed doors. Now, let's turn our focus to the latest name caught in this storm, Jaden Smith. The leaked footage has brought Jaden's involvement in Diddy's parties into the spotlight, and it's raising some serious questions about what went on.
And considering that he emancipated from their household at 16 and refused to come back even to do family interviews.
Jaden has always been seen as an outlier in Hollywood, a free spirit who marches to the beat of his own drum. From his early years as a child actor to his foray into music and fashion, Jaden's career has been a reflection of his unique personality. But behind that image, there may be a far darker reality.
First solo tour, so I'm really excited. It's very
Are you digging it? Are you liking it?
It's a lot of fun, yeah.
Jaden Smith's association with Diddy's inner circle seems to have begun when he was still quite young. Remember, Jaden was raised in an environment where he was constantly exposed to Hollywood's biggest players. His parents, Will and Jada, have always been well-connected, and Jaden's own rise to fame was meteoric. But according to those in the know, Jaden's attendance at Diddy's parties wasn't just about networking or rubbing elbows with Hollywood's elite. Insiders claim that Jaden was a regular fixture at these parties, and the leaked footage seems to suggest that he may have been subjected to the same troubling environment that ensnared other young stars like Bieber and Usher.
Posted yesterday all over our social media pages, Cassie filed a lawsuit in New York City against Diddy.
Yikes.
She's claiming she was stuck in a decade-long cycle of abuse.
So, what does this footage actually show? While the details are still emerging, those who've seen the video describe it as deeply unsettling. The scenes reportedly captured Jaden in compromising situations at one of Diddy's infamous gatherings. While it's important to note that these are still allegations and nothing has been fully confirmed, the footage allegedly shows Jaden caught in the chaos of one of these secretive parties, surrounded by people far older than him, and in an atmosphere that no young person should ever be exposed to.
Because you're going to be a big voice for the future, and I need them to know what the dangers are.
Absolutely.
But how did Jaden, the son of one of Hollywood's most famous couples, find himself in this mess? To answer that, we need to take a closer look at his relationship with his parents. Jaden's upbringing has always been a subject of public fascination. He's spoken candidly in interviews about how his parents gave him a lot of freedom from a young age, and that freedom extended to his decision to pursue emancipation while still a minor. At the time, this decision raised eyebrows. Why would a teenager with all the privileges of Hollywood life want to legally separate from his parent? The answer may lie in the environment Jaden was exposed to. Being raised in a high-profile family like the Smiths means being constantly surrounded by the pressures and temptations of the entertainment industry. And while Jaden's public persona has always been one of independence and rebellion, insiders suggest that he may have been more vulnerable than anyone realized. According to some sources, Jaden's emancipation was a direct result of the toxic environment he was exposed to, including his involvement with Diddy's parties. The argument goes that Jaden wanted to break free not just from his parents, but from the entire Hollywood machine that seemed to be pulling him deeper into a world of excess and exploitation.
The only way he will not go to prison for the time that they want to give him is if he start giving them something.
What's even more disturbing is the idea that Jaden's parents may have played a role in his involvement with Diddy. While Will and Jada have always projected the image of a loving, supportive family, rumors have circulated for years that their relationship with Hollywood's elite has been far from innocent. Some even suggest that Will and Jada were fully aware of what went on at these parties and may have turned a blind eye to protect their own status in the industry. Could it be that Jaden, rather than being a rebellious teen acting out, was actually trying to escape a situation he had no control over?
It's so funny what's happening with Diddy because this was inevitable.
As we uncover more about Diddy's parties, it's becoming clear that these events were not just about having a good time. They were about control, power, and manipulation. And young stars like Jaden, Bieber, and Usher were often caught in the middle. The leaked footage of Jaden at one of these parties is just the latest piece of evidence suggesting that these gatherings were far more disturbing than anyone ever knew.
Nor did you apologize for lying that you didn't do what you knew you was on tape doing. So who was this apology for? I'll tell you who it was for. Diddy's ego. Diddy's brand. Diddy and his handlers are looking at this all wrong. You're trying to salvage his professional career.
But the big question remains, how much did Jaden's parents know about what was going on? Were Will and Jada Smith, Hollywood's golden couple, really unaware of the dangers their son was facing? Or were they complicit, allowing Jaden to be drawn into this dark world while they maintained their pristine public image?
What do you think about Mark Curry?
Woo! What about?
What do you think about Mark Curry, the dude that wrote the book, Dance with the Devil?
The transition from this shocking revelation about Jaden to the role his parents played in all of this is natural because, let's face it, this is more than just about a teenager caught up in Hollywood's worst-kept secret. The Smith family, once seen as the epitome of success, fame, and love, is now being viewed through a much more critical lens. What did they know, and when did they know it? Are they victims of the same system, or were they willing participants in something far darker?
Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
As the footage continues to circulate, it's clear that this is only the beginning of what's likely to be a massive unraveling of secrets. Hollywood's elite are no strangers to scandal, but this latest revelation could bring down some of the biggest names in the business. And as more and more people come forward with their own stories, it's only a matter of time before the full extent of Diddy's, and by extension, the Smith family's involvement in these parties comes to light. How did Jaden end up in this environment, and what role did his parents play in exposing him to such dangers? Could it be that Will and Jada, the couple everyone thought had it all together, are more deeply involved in this web of conspiracy than anyone ever imagined? Keep watching, because things are only going to get more explosive from here. Now that we've seen the disturbing footage involving Jaden Smith and Diddy's infamous parties, the natural question is, how did things get to this point? How could a young star like Jaden from one of Hollywood's most iconic families become entangled in such a chaotic world? Well, as it turns out, the answer may be more complicated than anyone initially thought. In fact, it's time to take a closer look at the Smith family itself, because what's really going on behind the scenes of this seemingly perfect family might just blow the lid off everything we thought we knew about Hollywood's elite.
Sean Diddy Combs. And there has been a lot going on. Since November, there have been 8 civil lawsuits filed against Diddy. 7 of them accuse him of assault.
For years, Will and Jada Pinkett Smith have been held up as Hollywood royalty. They were the power couple, the ones who seemed to have it all: successful careers, a loving family, and an image that oozed class and sophistication. But as more details emerge about their lives, it's becoming harder to ignore the fact that their public personas might have been a carefully crafted illusion all along. Could it be that the Smiths aren't the innocent bystanders they've portrayed themselves to be, but rather key players in a much larger and more sinister game? Let's start by taking a closer look at Will and Jada's relationship. From the outside, they appeared to be the ultimate Hollywood couple, supporting each other through thick and thin, weathering the storms of fame and success together. But cracks in that image have been showing for years, and those cracks have only gotten bigger with time. For one, rumors about their marriage have swirled for as long as anyone can remember. Stories of infidelity, open relationships, and secret liaisons have dogged the couple for decades, with many insiders claiming that their marriage was never as picture perfect as it seemed. And it's not just rumors. Jada herself has confirmed some of these whispers.
Yeah, and let me just say this. It's ridiculous, right?
In her now infamous Red Table Talk interview, Jada openly admitted to what she called an entanglement with singer August Alsina. While Jada framed the relationship as something that happened during a difficult time in her marriage, the revelation raised eyebrows, especially when Will Smith sat across from her, clearly uncomfortable but trying to maintain composure. That episode was a turning point. It gave the public a glimpse into a marriage that was far from the fairy tale they had long sold to the world. But the entanglement was only the tip of the iceberg.
A relationship.
Yes, it was a relationship. Absolutely.
Will and Jada have long been rumored to have an open relationship. While the couple has never explicitly confirmed this, the clues are all there over the years. Both have hinted that they don't subscribe to traditional ideas about marriage. Jada, for instance, has said that she and Will are committed to each other in ways that transcend conventional expectations. In one interview, she remarked, "Will and I are life partners. There's nothing he could do, ever, that would break our relationship." While this could be interpreted as a statement of deep love and loyalty, others have taken it as an admission that the couple has, at times, stepped outside their marriage, whether emotionally or otherwise. This open relationship theory also plays into another long-standing rumor, that Jada has been serving as Will's beard for years. For those unfamiliar with the term, a beard is someone who maintains the public illusion of a romantic relationship to cover up another aspect of their partner's life. In this case, Will's alleged relationships with men. Hollywood insiders have whispered for years that Will has had secret relationships with other men, and that his marriage to Jada has been, at least in part, a way to keep those relationships out of the public eye. While none of this has been confirmed, the fact that these rumors have persisted for so long suggests that there might be more to the story than meets the eye.
Is there any possibility that he walks away clean from this, that everything is dropped and he faces no charges or any prison time?
Not impossible. I mean, anything is possible, but I don't see that happening. I see him kind of going the path of R. Kelly, where again, for so many decades, he was able to act with impunity and just, with harming so many, young women.
But here's where things get even more interesting. It's not just Will and Jada's unconventional marriage that has raised eyebrows. It's also the company they keep. The Smiths have long been connected to some of Hollywood's most powerful and secretive elites, including, of course, Diddy. And if the rumors about Diddy's parties are to be believed, it's no coincidence that the Smiths have been regulars in his inner circle for years. Insiders claim that the Smiths' involvement with Diddy goes far beyond mere friendship. Some have suggested that Will and Jada were fully aware of what went on at these parties and may have even participated in the more unsavory aspects themselves.
So why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
In fact, Jaguar Wright, a former R&B singer who has become something of a whistleblower on Hollywood's dark secrets, has made some shocking claims about Will's alleged involvement in these events. Wright has been vocal about her experiences in the industry and has specifically called out both Diddy and Will Smith for their behavior. In one explosive interview, Wright alleged that Will was involved in questionable activities with young boys, further fueling speculation about the dark side of his Hollywood life. While these claims remain unverified, they add to the growing narrative that the Smiths' public image is far from the full story. And then there's Jada. While much of the focus has been on Will, Jada has also been linked to some pretty disturbing rumors. For years, there have been whispers that Jada herself was involved in some of the more secretive circles in Hollywood, particularly those that revolve around manipulation and power. Some have even suggested that Jada used her influence to help maintain the Smith family status within these elite circles, turning a blind eye to the darker sides of Hollywood in exchange for continued fame and success. If true, this would mean that Jada was not just complicit in the events surrounding Diddy's parties, but actively involved in maintaining the facade that kept the truth hidden for so long. Which brings us back to Jaden. Given everything we now know or suspect about Will and Jada, it's becoming increasingly difficult to believe that they were unaware of what was happening to their son. After all, Jaden didn't just stumble into Diddy's world by accident. He was introduced to it by the very people who were supposed to protect him, his parents. And if the rumors are to be believed, Will and Jada didn't just fail to protect Jaden. They may have knowingly exposed him to these dangerous situations.
Nah, I just see I see him one day that I know for a fact he'll be behind bars. So it don't matter what he do now.
Think about it. Jaden was attending these parties at an age when most parents would be shielding their children from Hollywood's darker side. Yet, instead of keeping him away, Will and Jada seemingly allowed Jaden to dive headfirst into that world. And not just any world, but one where Diddy, who has been at the center of some of the most disturbing rumors in the industry, was in control. Was this negligence or something more sinister? It's worth noting that Jaden's relationship with his parents has always been complicated. From a young age, Jaden was given an extraordinary amount of freedom that most kids could only dream of. While some might argue that this was a progressive approach to parenting, others have questioned whether Jaden was given too much freedom too soon. His decision to seek emancipation, while still a minor, is a clear indication that something wasn't right. Jaden himself has hinted that his upbringing wasn't as idyllic as it appeared, saying in interviews that he felt different from his peers and that he struggled with the pressures of growing up in the spotlight.
Don't think he don't know. You pay those lawyers to know. Those lawyers know what he's gonna beat, and those lawyers know what he ain't gonna beat.
But what if Jaden's desire for emancipation was more than just a teenage rebellion? What if it was a cry for help, a way to escape the toxic environment he had been exposed to from such a young age? And if that's the case, what role did Will and Jada play in keeping him trapped in that world? Were they, as some have suggested, more concerned with maintaining their public image than with protecting their son? As we dig deeper into the Smith family's connections to Hollywood's elite, it's becoming increasingly clear that the story of Jaden's involvement in Diddy's parties is part of a much larger narrative. This isn't just about one young celebrity being exploited by powerful figures. It's about an entire system of power and control that has allowed these kinds of abuses to continue unchecked for years. And at the heart of that system are families like the Smiths, who have long been seen as role models, but who may, in fact, be complicit in some of Hollywood's darkest secrets.
I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
The leaked footage of Jaden at one of Diddy's parties has opened the floodgates, and the truth is slowly starting to come out. But as more details emerge, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. This isn't just about Diddy. It's about an entire culture of secrecy and manipulation that has been allowed to thrive in Hollywood for far too long. And the Smith family, once seen as innocent victims of that culture, may actually be key players in it. So where do we go from here? With Diddy's downfall seemingly imminent, it's only a matter of time before more people start coming forward with their own stories. And when that happens, the Smiths may find themselves at the center of a storm they can no longer control. As the world watches the unraveling of Hollywood's elite, one thing is certain: the facade is crumbling and the truth is finally coming to light.
That's, of course, there's layers upon layers. When you get into these conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers upon layers.
So, what do you think? Could Will and Jada really have been complicit in exposing their son to such a dangerous environment, or were they simply caught up in the chaos of Hollywood's elite? Do you believe the Smith family's public image has been nothing but a carefully constructed illusion? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.